Alien species, the Orions, the Orion Empire. Hey everyone, welcome back to The Hidden Truth. We've covered the classic Zeta Reticulan Greys, the tall benevolent Nordics, the wise Syrians, the spiritual Arcturians, the ancient Anunnaki, the artistic Vegans, the regal Lyrans, the mysterious Ummites, the freedom-focused Procyon, the nuanced Solipsi Ray, and the approachable Alpha Centaurians. Today we're stepping into one of the most powerful, controversial, and influential races in the entire galactic narrative. The Orions, often called the Orion Empire or the Orion Group. Unlike many races with one famous contactee or a single dramatic event, the Orions appear across decades of channeled material, contactee testimony, whistleblower claims, and starseed discussions. They are associated with the Orion constellation, particularly the bright stars Rigel and Betelgeuse and the Orion Nebula region. In modern UFO, conspiracy, and New Age literature, they are portrayed as an ancient, sophisticated, and strategically minded civilization with both regressive and benevolent factions. Their story is one of power, duality, empire, and long-term influence. Let's start with how they are described physically. Orion appearances vary significantly depending on the source, reflecting the idea of multiple subgroups. The humanoid Orions, or tall Orions, are often depicted as tall, 7 to 9 feet or more, well-built or athletic, with skin tones ranging from fair to olive, tan, or reddish-brown. Hair is frequently dark or reddish, and eyes can be piercing, brown, hazel, or gold. They are described as regal, warrior-like, or aristocratic, carrying a commanding, authoritative presence. Other accounts speak of reptilian-influenced or hybrid Orions, blending humanoid traits with reptilian features such as scales, vertical pupils, or elongated eyes. These are usually tied to the more aggressive empire aspects in many conspiracy-oriented narratives. Certain Orion factions are said to work closely with shorter Greys, Zeta Reticulans, or other regressive groups, creating a more clinical or manipulative image. Overall, the Orion archetype is sophisticated, technologically advanced, and strategically minded, with a strong emphasis on power, hierarchy, and long-term planning. The Orions are most commonly linked to the Orion constellation as their ancient home region. Many sources describe an Orion Empire or Orion-based civilization that rose to significant power thousands to hundreds of thousands of years ago. In galactic lore, they are portrayed as one of the older, more dominant humanoid or humanoid-reptilian hybrid civilizations that expanded through conquest, diplomacy, and strategic alliances. A key recurring theme is internal division. The Orion region is said to contain both regressive, service-to-self, power-oriented factions and more benevolent or balanced groups. The label Orion Empire is usually applied to the authoritarian, expansionist, or negatively oriented factions. While some accounts distinguish positive Orions who oppose imperial tendencies and work toward liberation or spiritual evolution, the Orion region is said to contain both regressive, service-to-self, power-oriented factions and more benevolent or balanced groups. The label Orion Empire is usually applied to the authoritarian, expansionist, or negatively oriented factions. While some accounts distinguish positive Orions who oppose imperial tendencies and work toward liberation or spiritual evolution, in many narratives, the Orions are connected to ancient conflicts involving Lyran civilizations. These conflicts allegedly led to massive refugee migrations and long-standing rivalries that still shape galactic politics. Some sources claim Orion entities have influenced or interacted with Earth's history, particularly in ancient civilizations in the Middle East, Egypt, and Mesoamerica, where they allegedly appeared as gods, rulers, or behind-the-scenes manipulators. Descriptions of Orion society are distinctly dualistic. The regressive Orion Empire is portrayed as highly hierarchical, focused on control, resources, and power. Their technology is advanced but often used for domination, sophisticated spacecraft, mind control, or frequency technologies. Genetic engineering and strategic alliances with other regressive groups, including certain Greys and Reptilians, Their agenda on Earth is frequently described as seeking influence through covert means, elite bloodlines, secret societies, or technology exchanges with human governments. On the other side are benevolent or positive Orions. Technology attributed to the Orions includes advanced propulsion, energy weapons, consciousness manipulation tools, and genetic engineering capabilities. Their spacecraft are often described as large, imposing, and formidable. On Earth, the Orion agenda is typically framed in two opposing ways. The negative interpretation speaks of long-term manipulation of human affairs, promotion of fear-based control systems, influence over religious and political institutions, and participation in hybridization or soul recycling programs. The positive interpretation suggests that certain Orion beings or groups have been working quietly to counter negative influences and assist humanity in breaking free from control matrices. The Orions feature heavily in several key sources. Channeled material from the 1980s to 2000s, particularly the Law of One/raw material, describes the Orion Group as a major service-to-self polarity force active in this region of the galaxy. Contactee and whistleblower accounts, including those from Alex Collier, frequently discuss Orion influence and galactic conflicts. Conspiracy-oriented literature, such as the works of David Icke, emphasizes Orion/reptilian connections in theories about global control. Starseed communities often include people who identify as Orion starseeds, citing traits like strong will, strategic thinking, intensity, and a history of power struggles or leadership roles. Broader Galactic Federation narratives position the Orions as a major player in ancient and ongoing galactic politics. There is no single dominant, well-verified physical event, no famous abduction or crash, that anchors the Orions in the same way as other races. Their presence is more ideological and interpretive, appearing as a recurring force in galactic history rather than through isolated contact cases. Credibility remains one of the biggest challenges. The Orions suffer from the same evidentiary issues as many other channeled or conspiracy-based races. Virtually no physical evidence exists. No crashed Orion craft, implants, mass sightings, or authenticated documents have been independently verified. The material relies heavily on channeling, especially the Law of One, contactee testimony, and interpretive frameworks that attempt to explain global power structures through extraterrestrial influence. Skeptics view the Orion Empire concept as a modern myth that blends ancient astronaut ideas, Gnostic dualism, light versus dark forces, and contemporary conspiracy thinking. The dualistic good Orion versus bad Orion split is often seen as a narrative device to add complexity while allowing flexibility in interpretation. Supporters argue that the consistency of Orion references across independent sources, combined with their explanatory power regarding human history and power dynamics, suggests a genuine underlying phenomenon. As of 2026, the Orions remain one of the most discussed races in UFO, conspiracy, and starseed circles. They appear regularly in videos about galactic politics, ancient aliens, and global control theories. Interest tends to come from those exploring themes of power, duality, spiritual warfare, and humanity's place in a larger cosmic conflict. In summary, the Orions, particularly the Orion Empire, are portrayed as a powerful, ancient civilization from the Orion constellation with significant influence in galactic affairs. They are often depicted with both regressive, control-oriented, and benevolent factions, advanced technology, and a complex history of interaction with Earth. Information about them is drawn primarily from channeled material, contactee accounts, and interpretive lore with no independent physical corroboration. They represent a major archetypal force in modern UFO mythology, embodying themes of power, duality, empire, and resistance, whether viewed as literal extraterrestrial players, symbolic representations of human shadow dynamics, or a blend of both. The Orions continue to fascinate those seeking to understand humanity's cosmic context and hidden influences. What do you think? Do the Orions feel like ancient manipulators, strategic teachers, or something in between? Have you ever identified as an Orion starseed or felt drawn to Orion themes of power and duality? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. If this video helped you understand one of the most complex races in galactic lore, please hit that like button, subscribe so you don't miss the next species, and ring the bell. Next time we'll continue exploring the stars with another fascinating civilization. Thanks for watching. Stay aware, stay sovereign, and keep questioning. I'll see you in the next one.